I mean, this is just year one of the Trump regime. And we've had an uprising of aggression.
Tiki torch carrying neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me, because, hence my IG name, Mopar, there was a Dodge Challenger that was driven into a crowd of people.
And ran to people over, mowed people over.
And for Trump to go up there on TV and be like there were rights and wrongs on both sides after something like that, you've dropped the ball as the President of the United States.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, here on home soil, you should keep the peace. You know? You may pop off at the mouth behind closed doors when cameras ain't there and fake news.
Right.
But when you're on TV and you're talking about something of that magnitude, something such as Charlottesville,
right,
you gotta be about making America great again. You gotta, put on the Uncle Sam hat, stand there with Old Glory and talk about how now we need to come together.
Right.
We need to be one people. We need to show everybody else around the world how strong and united we are. Because that's something that America's always promoting. Because there's always been something about, we have a lot of things that make us great, better than other countries around the world. But if you go to places like London, Germany, Switzerland, there are places out there that they have democratic governments.
Yep.
They have elections, and they follow constitutions and stuff like that. We're not the only ones that do that.
Right.
We might have been the first ones to do it back in the day, but it's no longer like that.
Right.
So, although, yes, America is still a great place to live, there are people dying to get here every day for what we have, but that's also because we've basically put that on the billboard in the middle of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans that say...
Shout out to the Statue of Liberty.
Right, exactly. By the way, shout out to the French. Thanks for the gift. We love it.
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome to another episode of Words, Music, Dance. I'm your host as always, Paul the Bull, no relation to Gravano. You already know who it is. You see?
Yeah.
People like that, apparently. You know what I mean? This is episode 106. It's been a long road. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody. Comment, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do all that. Love you. Thank you. You know what I mean? But 106, 100 episodes ago was episode 6, if you do the math. You know what I mean?
Carry the one.
You know what I mean? Always carry the one. Don't forget to carry the one. But back in episode 6, I had an individual that, known for a minute. Been a homie, still a homie. So 100 episodes later, he hit me up. He was like, I got to get back on. I was like, you absolutely right. So he's here. Back then, he was the train man. Now he might be known as the Mopar man. He's a Viking to some of y'all. He's a Viking fan, which I don't really like that. But,
Yeah, you just kind of dirty like that.
But he got a Yankee hat on, Yankee fan, so I'm still...
Pitches and catches is past date.
Absolutely. So, once again, the homie Danny's back.
What up, Paulie?
What up? Welcome. Glad to have you back.
Glad to be back, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you still support the channel, support the show.
Of course, man. You got to. Got to support your homies.
Because he hit me up and was like, I was on episode, well, he said 5 at first, but it was 6, but it's all good.
Forgot to carry the one.
There you go.
Didn't take my own advice.
Got to carry the one. But you reminded me, and I was like, oh yeah, he was early in it. So shout out to everybody that's been here and still here. Love you. New people too. I don't mind y'all. You're a little late, but it's all good. I don't mind that.
Hey, as long as you arrive to the party, it's what matters.
So tell your friends about it. Don't be selfish. Share.
Exactly.
Let them know too. Everybody.
That's why that little share button's right around here somewhere.
Exactly. It'll be around. The channel's growing, so I'm definitely, I'm liking this. I'm kind of a celebrity. You know what I mean? Out in these streets.
Oh, you definitely becoming like a mogul. Definitely, I see that. You got the sidebars.
I do.
Homie calls. Hands of time.
You know what I'm saying?
I see you had the homie Big Ant. Shout out, ain't seen you in a minute.
Yeah.
Big John, shout out again, ain't seen you in a minute. Jared, another homie, see you at work, maybe sometime, I don't know. But you doing good things, man.
And everybody going through. Ant got his own channel, his own show. A couple other, my boy Gene got his own thing going. So I'm not taking credit for what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? but we all help each other out. We've all appeared on each other's joints, so that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? This is one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face.
Facts.
And when we come together, we come a fist and punch people in the face with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but not violence. Yeah,
my brother.
You know, you got to. But Danny,
what up?
First and foremost, how you doing out here? You know, we still in the middle of a pandemic, going on a year later. You are an essential worker.
Yeah. I guess
Someone
you
said
could say that. Yeah.
So how you feeling? How you doing that right now?
I mean, I'm doing good, man. You can see we here, we close. You know,
right.
You know,
still got the sanitizer on deck.
Yeah. Up, as long as you got the
Keep
sanitizer,
that on deck. Yeah.
You know, we got beverages that help keep us, you know,
vitamin D stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, doing good. You know, I get tested every week. You know, everyone's been coming back negative, which is a good thing.
It's funny to hear people say I got tested because you usually think of something else, but nowadays you're like, oh yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Because remember years ago when you heard something.
Well, not for nothing, motherfucker. You just dated both of us by saying that. I hate you.
But years ago, that's when you heard somebody say I got tested. You always thought something else.
Like, oh shit, like something you need to tell us, bro.
Right.
Like, you know, they make a little thing called a prophylactic.
Right. But now when you hear that, it's like, oh
something totally different.
Me too, or yeah.
But yeah, nah, man. I've been, you know, I get tested every week. I'm clean. I wear my mask. I keep my distance. Wash my hands 100 times a day at work. Other than that, just, you know, doing my thing. Just, you know, going to work, coming home, going out to the store to do basic grocery shopping here and there. You know, seeing a few friends who I know are in a similar situation, so I know, you know, I'm minimizing my risk to catching anything.
Right.
And just, you know, been doing it that way for the last year.
Right.
Starting to go out of my mind. I'd like to go to a movie again.
Yes. I went once. I went to see Tenet when I was down south. Back in October. I went to see Tenet, but the theater was like empty.
I'm sure it was.
I believe when I got down there, AMC had emailed me and it was like, oh, theater's open in certain places. And I was like, let me look. It was open. A lot of people didn't know it was open yet, so we was like, all right, let's sneak in there real quick, go see the movie. You know what I'm saying? So, but yes, I definitely hope. I just read that Cuomo is saying in March he's trying to open up indoor amusement. Okay. So he didn't include movies, which has been the biggest thing that he was anti. He said movies are not essential. So we're still waiting to see if he's gonna open up movie theaters.
If you want people to stop losing their damn minds, I would classify that as essential.
He said it's not essential, and that's actually what's been holding back the movie theater industry, because a lot of companies are not releasing their big budget movies because New York City, LA, the big city markets haven't opened their theaters up. So a lot of places, Tenet was pushed back. I believe. They made worldwide 300 million, and they may have estimated to be a 500 to $800 million movie to
So it was undershot by like 5 or 6.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and most people would think like a Black Widow, for example, would probably be $1 billion close to movie. So they're trying to get as much as they can out of that, which is why they keep holding it. But as of now, the date is still May.
Yeah, somewhere around
17th,
the middle of May, somewhere around there. Yeah,
and we're hoping that it holds to that, because we've 2020 was our first year without any Marvel movie since 2008. So
yeah, I gotta admit, 2020 was boring. It was black.
Yeah,
between everything with Trump and no Marvel movies and we had the Mandalorian, so I can't say no new Star Wars. It was kind of whack. There really wasn't much to look forward to entertainment wise.
I mean, we had a couple of things. It was all streaming service stuff, so you know what I'm saying. I mean, we did have on TV. We had shout out to ESPN, The Last Dance. I enjoyed watching.
Which I did catch up on, by the way, because it was on Netflix.
Oh yeah, it's on Netflix now. And is Michael Jordan the greatest of all time?
Listen, he's the GOAT.
Okay,
he's the GOAT. I got to agree with you on that. I'm not gonna lie. It took me back to when I was a kid, and I enjoyed watching it because the sport was a lot more involved. It was a lot more physical. It was okay to throw an elbow here and there, and to see somebody actually fall because an elbow was thrown, not because it was thrown. And then you see somebody
flopping.
It was that. This is why a lot of people say LeBron never would have made it in that game.
Right. And I wouldn't say he wouldn't have made it because I believe he may have adapted to the time.
Right. He would have become a different player than what we're used to seeing him as.
Correct. I feel he would have. And he's built. So he's built like Karl Malone. Probably faster, jumps higher, you know what I'm saying? But he's solid like a, power forward. You know what I mean? So he definitely, I feel he would have been able to handle it. But today's game, and you can blame, not to be racist, but a lot of the Europeans that came over turned it into like a soccer type league, and soccer's kind of known for their flops and things.
Yeah.
So once the game became international, it's kind of like a, soccer, when you dribble the ball, well, they call it dribble in soccer as well. You know what I'm saying? But instead of using your feet, it's like you use more hands. But it became more of a, international game, faster, some would say softer, but the flopping, I believe, shout out to the, the Europeans that came over, like the Arvidas Sabonis, Vlade Divac, and them that definitely would flop and things.
Greek freak.
And the Greek nowadays, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, spell that out.
Carry the one.
There you go, carry the one. But yeah, so I mean, sticking with the entertainment aspect, you know what I'm saying? Well, before we get into the entertainment aspect of it, still sticking with COVID and things, we were having a conversation about now, you said you don't go as much as, you go to work, come home.
Right.
I do the same. And because my beard is kind of looking like yours.
Well,
Not as much though. I mean, yours is still prettier. You know what I'm saying? You put years into it, but I hate having a beard. I'm put that out there.
Well, I notice a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Mainly that's because they don't take care of it properly.
Yeah.
The best way to take care is that, you gotta get a wash. You gotta get a good wash, And
I do. I do wash. I do wash my beard.
They make specific washes for it.
That I don't do.
There are many companies.
I use soap.
And what you gotta do is you gotta get yourself a good balm.
Okay, you got
a good balm.
Not balm.
No, not bomb like bomb.
Because people confuse the beards with terrorism.
Right. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
This is BALM, balm, or you gotta get yourself a good oil.
Okay.
All right? From a reputable company like thebeardstruggle.com, use Daniel D 15 for 15% off. And it keeps it nice and smooth.
That'll be in the description as well for those listening. Look down below. Right. It's in there. Click that.
Keeps it nice and smooth. Keeps it itch free. Use it at night before you go to bed. Okay. Rub it in. You're good to go.
Okay. And I'm gonna cop some of that because I need to support just because your name is on it. Click that.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
All I really got is a brush. So I just
that helps.
Keep it neat because you don't want crumbs in there.
Keep it neat.
Keep
the crumbs out.
I do brush
keep the dandruff out.
Keep the dandruff out. And it is the only hair I have now. So when I wash my hair, I'm washing the beard.
I feel you.
Up top is scalped off.
Yeah. I know. That's why I wear a hat.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I wore hats before I lost my hair. But now that I had the devil horns and the sunroof, so now I just cut it all off.
Oh, so you was looking like a monk.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Got you.
But now, what I'm saying, the brush is, keeps the beard neat.
Right.
Especially because we wear masks.
And it actually helps with the growth too, because what you're doing is you're actually aerating the beard. So you're getting air into the skin to help keep it from itching.
Last summer was the first time I really grew the beard out.
And I noticed that too. On a couple of your videos, I was impressed. I'm like, oh, my man growing out the beard.
Ooh,
and then I saw your last two videos, I'm like, oh, he went and shaved it off. I'm like, why? Why did you go do that?
Yeah, I haven't got it. This is and luckily my hair grows slow. So this is about 2 months.
Okay.
So I'm good. I'd be even worse if it grew fast. But my hair doesn't grow as fast. So I'm like, all right, I can tolerate just leaving this. And then, saying, and I'm cutting myself at home now. Sometimes I go to the barbershop, but again, because of COVID, I don't. When I do go to the barbershop, I'm in there early and I'm out. Like before everybody's getting there, hey,
quick, line me up, get me out.
You got anybody there? All right. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, I just line up myself at home, stay away from people and stuff. But the beard, I don't know how Rick Ross and them do it. James Harden.
James Harden is like a pinnacle beard for me.
Yeah. Like
I'd be able to get. That for me, I wouldn't
it's like
mind.
a bib. It's like he has a pillow for chin. Like
exactly. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, but yeah, I can't do it. I'm cutting this. I was gonna cut it before we started recording, but time restraints. But it was whatever. But I'm definitely getting it cut as soon as I can.
I hear you.
It's coming off. I can't do it. I salute to you that do it. I'm definitely gonna cop some of the products though. You know what I'm saying? Because your name is on it.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, I can't. But we also spoke about entertainment.
Yep.
And we spoke about some things we were watching on the last episode that you were on, episode 6 again. But recently, most of our entertainment...
So long.
2017.
Yeah, The Last
2017.
Jedi was coming out.
Yeah. And
We weren't even near the farce and blunder of what
nope.
Rise of Skywalker
Now,
was.
me myself, I feel The Last Jedi was the best of those three.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't at the time. Were like, "Oh no, it's going away from," and did it. Yeah,
And what saved that movie was the Luke Skywalker scene towards the end.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a badass scene.
That
And he
whole
wasn't
scene
even
there. If it wasn't for that scene, that movie would have failed miserably to me.
I think
Maybe not miserably, but it would have failed.
It was still a failure in most people's eyes. To me, I liked the direction it was going because it was saying, all Jedi don't need to be Skywalkers and Palpatines and
Right.
Kenobis. There's a whole galaxy and everyone
Could be their own Jedi.
Yeah, and even being a Jedi, you don't have to. They became like a cult that you got Force powers, then come with us.
Right.
Why? As a little kid too, like it's kind of creepy. If you really think about the history of Jedi, just like your child has Force powers, he must come with us. And you can't shoot them ever again.
Like the original Jedi was R. Kelly or something, maybe. Too soon? Is that still considered too soon? I'm not sure how things go these days.
I think it's right on time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's right on time. Can't cancel. It's my network.
All right, cool.
You
cool,
good?
Cool. All right.
I don't mind it.
That's why I'm pacing on the man at top.
So you go. But yeah, we all know that went bad. Like you said, we got the Mandalorian. Saved Disney Plus last year. We had the Mandalorian.
Shout out Grogu.
2 seasons. Yes,
That's right. It's not Baby Yoda anymore. His name is Grogu. Goddammit.
I feel it's interchangeable. What you think? You don't like Baby Yoda?
No, it's Grogu.
Okay. That is real name.
All right. He's been given his own identity.
You're right.
All right.
But he's still.
Not only that, maybe Yoda doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Like he's, like some of the memes say, into hiding he must go. Child support he wishes not to pay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Might make sense. him and Yaddle had a kid.
Yeah.
Had a kid, and he didn't want to. He's just like
with COVID and everything, maybe he lost his job. He can't afford them child support payments right now.
But he could have got extra $600 for having them. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. What they paying if you got kids?
Listen, man, we're not going to talk about them COVID recovery checks or whatever they call them because that's a joke in itself.
Yeah. We haven't got. Biden promised us. When he said the 1,400 more.
No, first it was 2,000, then it went down to 1,400.
Right, because he gave y'all 6.
Because y'all already got the 6.
14.
So 14 makes it 2.
But now they're saying only those that make less than 50,000 or whatever now, because it falls 75. Now they're saying if you make less than 50, you're gonna get the full, but anybody else is gonna get less than that, and yeah.
Oddly enough, as part of that last $600 stimulus, I got $100.
See?
Why even bother? I would have preferred that $100 to go to somebody that really needed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't. I mean, I haven't lost a paycheck since the beginning of the
and that's
pandemic.
the main thing, because I see a lot of people crying for it. If you're still working, you're okay. I think, like you said, it should really be focused on those that need it. If you're still working,
if you would have took that $100 and say gave it to somebody that's working in the supermarket, that's not getting any type of hazard pay, which was supposedly promised as to those who are essential workers, and gave it to somebody who's and worked in a supermarket or a pharmacy, I would have been okay with that.
That makes sense.
Because like I said, I didn't lose a paycheck. I'm still paying my bills. I'm still doing okay.
And that's how I feel. If you're still able to pay your bills on time, still working, I think you don't need it as much as someone that isn't working. And I think if you have kids, maybe they could do the extra little bit.
Right.
But yeah, I think it should really go to those in need. Anybody that's working and still seeing their same paycheck, explain to me what the extra money is really going to do for you. I get it. We all want some money, and we're not turning it down.
Don't get me wrong. An extra $100 means an extra $100 worth of beer for me. But, at this stage of the game, I could really do with a little less beer. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But
as I take a sip of this
lovely beverage. Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, just to see where things are going now, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like a government that was supposed to be created by the people for the people is the exact opposite.
Yeah. How did you feel when Biden won? I seen people outside celebrating as if it was some kind of a victory or something? How did you feel?
I wasn't celebrating outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yay,
Right.
my guy won.
Yeah.
Did I support Biden? Did I vote for Biden? Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
I'll go out there and tell you. I voted for Biden. I'm a Biden supporter, Biden-Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Did I go above and beyond to have to get a huge flag and hang it from the front of my house or rub it in people's faces? Nah, not at all. Right now, we're still in the very early stages of his first 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
Has he done a lot to undo the last 4 years? Yes.
Mhm.
Are a lot of people unhappy for it? Yeah.
Mhm.
We knew that was going to happen.
Of course.
But what's really going to be the mile maker, I guess, or the stone setter, or however the phrasing goes,
Mhm.
is going to be when you see his first policy enacted.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look back at the 4 years of the Trump presidency, what policies did he put in place? Because policy is what is harder to erase than executive order.
Mm-hmm.
Executive order is just something temporarily. It's just saying, like, I'm going to move this from here to there, and it's going to stay there as long as I'm president.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's no longer president, Biden just said, okay, we're going to put it back where it was.
Right.
So now we're pretty much at base zero.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't seem to realize that.
Mhm.
All he did was undo every executive order Trump did.
Right.
So now it's time to see what policies he's going to put in place to actually make this a better country, to unify us like he said he was going to for that whole campaign period.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where we go from there.
January 6th, we had what some call an insurrection.
A new day that will live in infamy.
Yes. What were your thoughts on that?
First reactions were, man, these Trump supporters is wilding.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a lot of Trump supporters that, are on my socials that go, oh, those weren't all Trump supporters, those were Antifa people, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, and I don't care how you feel about this, they was white people.
Mm-hmm.
Had there been any black people in there, cops would have been up there, there would have been pepper spray, hoses, dogs, military. They would have had that blocked off. The security would have been tighter than Putin's asshole.
That's tight, I think. I don't know for sure.
For January 6th to have even happened, is something that didn't even happen during the Civil War. People entered, everyday common people, whether they were Antifa, Trump supporters, or just people that were there to see what was going on, wound up in an official building of the United States, walking into offices of our politicians that who knows what they had on their desk. There might have been policies, things in there that the everyday person is not supposed to know about. They were looking through it, putting their feet up on the desk. There were Trump flags and hats put on statues of people like Gerald Ford, who's a former president. And we saw the speaker's podium taken and being held by that dude from Florida. And, Pelosi's desk. Who's Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, number 3 in line in case anything should happen. Her office was breached. Somebody was sitting at her desk with his feet on the table. No matter what, that's a sign of disrespect towards our country from our own people. Which is a smack in the face when you had, at the time, the sitting president, within his first few months to a year in office, enacted a travel ban from people from the Middle East because they're the enemy. But meanwhile, our own people infiltrated one of our own historical establishments and treated it like it was a third world country. It makes no sense to me. How are you going to say, oh, America this, but then trash one of your own buildings?
Yeah.
I can understand the aggravation because you think your guy won the election.
Right.
But how much time has elapsed from November 3rd to January 6th? That's 2 months. 2 months and 3 days.
Yeah.
You had how much time to prove there was fraud, things were done wrong, and every court case was thrown out. The Supreme Court, which, mind you, how many people he put on the Supreme Court? Said, nah, dog, you're wrong. Oh, by the way, thanks for the job. Appreciate the lifetime appointment and benefits and all that, but you're wrong.
Right.
So, but meanwhile, somebody like me who was legitimately worried about somebody like Barrett and Kavanaugh being on the Supreme Court wound up doing the most justice for us by throwing out his court case and saying, "Nah, there was no fraud."
What do you think about when people compare the incidents that took place on January 6th to like marches and things that took place last summer that some put under the umbrella of Black Lives Matter protests and things like that? There was a comparison thrown out there because some did turn into riots and things like that. What's your take on that?
The Black Lives Matter marches were for legit reasons because it's 2020 at the time.
At the time, yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
You have minorities at an exponential rate being pulled over by police, being treated wrong. You have people at the border being locked up, separated from their children being put in cages, other people being put in cages. There were other reports of women undergoing medical experiments of having, hysterectomies unneededly. Right? All because they had brown skin, black skin. Because they're minorities. They're black, they're Hispanic. Go back 40, 50 years to the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Same thing was happening. So what has really changed? Nothing. Now you come to January 6th. This was a protest of whiny, crybaby white people because their man didn't win. So they're going to trash one of our most sacred institutions, a building that's been around for 100 plus years, almost 200 years, if not over 200 years, because of the simple fact that their guy didn't win. There's no comparison in my eyes. Just to say that, there should be justice. Meanwhile, the man who's on your side, Mike Pence, you're screaming to hang him.
Yeah, they actually raised up the galley with the noose.
So
whether symbolic or not, they were looking for him.
So let me get this straight. Trump's your boy. Trump, he's the greatest. But meanwhile, you want to hang his number 2.
Because he went inside. He wasn't out there at the rally.
Meanwhile, all homeboy did that day was clock in to do his job. That's like you going to work.
Still defend Trump at that. He was in there to speak on his behalf because they were trying to prevent, they were doing the counts or whatever for the second, I forgot what they exactly were doing. Oh no, they were still counting the finishing up the ballots or whatever, the voting for them to finalize the election and stuff.
Correct.
And Pence was in there trying to still say, well, there's still court cases going on.
Maybe we should hold off on it.
Yeah.
However, what people fail to realize is that January 6th wasn't going to change the fact that Biden won the presidency.
Correct.
Because it took, what was it, a week and a half for them to come up with saying, okay, Biden is president-elect. Then, a month later, a little bit more than a month later, maybe a little less, by December 14th or 15th, the Electoral College solidified it and said, no, he's the winner. After that's done, guess what? He's done. He's the president.
And then the Senate, I think, is the final step in as far as ratifying
and all that is basically pomp and circumstance.
Right.
It's done. It's not going to change the outcome of the election.
And
so for you guys to riot and scream and say, oh, Trump, yeah, he's still a loser.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, I think it was a waste of time. It showed how much of a divide there really is in this country.
Now, once again, flashing back to our last episode, you wore a Kaepernick shirt. You have another one on now. The conversation, and that was 2017. The conversation then was
when the kneeling began.
Kaepernick was protesting.
Social injustice.
And they were saying he was protesting wrong. He was disrespecting the flag.
I don't see how.
So let's fast forward to January 6th again. Was that the correct way for them to protest?
Not at all. They were using okay. You watch the video, you see that, or I should say videos. You see the flag being used as a weapon during what's supposed to be a protest. So you take a man who is kneeling, minding his own business, to raise awareness of how there's systemic racism in this country, and how there's an injustice against people of color, as opposed to a white man beating a cop with a flag. I tend to think that the white man beating the cop with a flag is more disrespectful than the black man who was kneeling, minding his own business, trying to raise awareness. I mean, I'm just saying. You watched. I've seen CNN released like a 13-minute long video of a compilation of different things coinciding with the timeline of Trump's tweets during the whole incident. And there's this one particular point where you see a cop being squashed to death between a door.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
You hear him screaming and agonizing in pain. But meanwhile, these same people months earlier, Blue Lives Matter. Is that not a blue life? Clearly, it doesn't matter because you're squeezing them. There was a cop who was beaten to death with a fire extinguisher. Clearly, red lives matter more than blue lives because you used a fire extinguisher to beat a policeman to death. 5 people died, lost their lives at January 6th at an attack on the Capitol, which is considered an insurrection. Yeah, people lost their lives at some of the Black Lives Matter protests, but that has, I think that, not to take those deaths or losses any less than what happened on the 6th, I think the 6th has more meaning because of the fact that it happened on the soil, on the steps in the building of the Capitol. Something that never should have happened.
And you would think wouldn't happen. I would always, I mean, me myself, you just grow up thinking, walking into the Capitol, walking to the White House, you would be faced with a little more, defense. And there were some cops that were trying to prevent them from going in and things like that. It just seemed like it wasn't enough, especially on a day where they're in there actually meeting. It ain't like it was a regular old tour day. It was
an actual assembly of Congress.
Yeah, Congress was in their meeting, and it wasn't just a regular tour day.
No, right.
So you would feel like it would be more security.
That maybe maybe the National Guard should have been present that day, considering that this was a potential threat.
But then you find out who was involved, and then we get the answer or the defense or it was Antifa, it was the Proud Boys.
Right.
So who is Antifa? Who are the Proud Boys? We don't know.
Could be anyone and everyone.
A couple of people that have been identified since then have been found to be, CEOs of companies, certain people that work in Congress. There's actually
some politicians.
There's an investigation on the actual Capitol Police. So that brings me to a problem we may have, that if it was Antifa, and we don't want to say it was Trump supporters, it's what y'all don't want to say, then who is Antifa? Because
they've also infiltrated Black Lives Matter protests.
Exactly. So if we have certain people of power, one lady flew her own private jet full of Antifa to this event. There was a gentleman that had his actual employee ID out as he was in there, and he worked at like a company in Virginia or something like that. So he was on his lunch break or something, went to DC, we about to go up in the Capitol, like, you know what I'm saying? And
you had other politicians.
That
were up there. Yeah, what was it? I think there was a couple of governors or something that were up there.
So you got certain people that were involved in this event that all they did was turn around. When you're supposed to be like, oh, no. They're like, come on in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a problem.
And there were even videos that showed that.
Yes.
There was video of Capitol Police just going, all right, let's move the barricades and let them in. Like, and how are you doing your job?
We can call them Antifa. We can call them Trump supporters. We can call them whatever. I don't care what you call them.
At the end of the day, there were security letdowns that allowed this to happen.
And this is domestic terrorism. You can call it that too.
That's exactly what it is.
These were local people. These were actual, people that from here. People were on their social media bragging about it. You know what I mean? And
Like it was
biggest
a regular
fear-
day at the park.
Right, and they've talked to, arrested, and got some of those people that told on themselves, but there's a lot more that were masked up that we don't know, and that's the biggest part. There was a dude in there, with wire ties and he had cords and military guard
Right,
and
yeah.
a vest and a mask, and we don't know who that man is.
We don't know who he is. We don't know who he was looking for.
Yeah,
Or if he got a hold of anybody, what he was going to do.
right, and that's the biggest problem.
Right, which goes back to what happened back a couple of months prior in Michigan when you had that other militia group, the Wolverines, looking for the governor. They were going to hold some kind of, their own little trial and look to execute the governor because of the pandemic shutdowns that they were doing in Michigan.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she was just looking to keep the virus from spreading within her own state and control it as best she could. Because you had the one person who should have been setting the standard denying it the whole time, despite the fact that he got it and was getting better health care than anybody else in the country at our expense, pumped full of steroids, talking about don't let it dominate you. It's nothing. Look at me, I got over it in a weekend. Meanwhile, he was high as a motherfucker the whole time.
Right. Yeah, and I don't want to dwell on January 6th again like we did, but you did bring up some points. And I definitely wanted to get your point of view on it. But you definitely made up some valid points of who or what. Or, as always, share your thoughts. If anyone opposes what was said today, I have no problem conversing with you as well. I'm very open-minded. I would love to see the other side.
Leave your comments.
Yeah, I'm always open to see, how, I was talking to Danny earlier, and I was saying I watch Fox News, because I like to see maybe I'm missing something. What is perspective that I'm not getting? So I love to see the other side. So anybody that's, has a different perspective on it, please share it with me. Please. And it made me think of something that I want to show you.
A few minutes later.
Store policy, they can ask you to leave.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a face mask? Federal law.
Not federal. It's
Okay,
state
so
law.
you don't know.
State
you don't
order.
know the laws, right?
State order.
No. The law. The law, because I'm going to get your badge number and
34.
I'm going to sue you as well.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the
A
federal
business
law
can ask you to
that-
leave for any reason.
that prevents me from wearing a face mask?
They don't have to provide you service.
Do they serve the public? Do I pose any threat medically or physically?
They don't know that.
Okay, so you don't know that. So I am being
A business
escorted
can
out
refuse your
here
service
because why?
for
Because
any reason they
what-
want.
Because I pose what kind of threat?
They have a policy here. They're
Is it a
following
federal law?
They're following the
Is
state
it a
mandate.
It's not.
Miss, do you have an idea? Yes, it is a federal.
Mandate and a law, two different things.
This is private property.
It's,
No.
Yes,
Do
it is.
they serve the public?
What do you need, your ID?
yes.
Do you have your ID,
No.
please?
I'm not giving you my ID.
Okay,
Because
then you gotta come with us.
Let's follow us.
Don't.
Yes?
We're
Yes?
going to- we're-
I'm going to pause this for a hot second. Because this particular reason with these Karens drives me insane. Because it amazes me how since COVID happened, how many of these Karens have become legal experts. Because if you actually walk into a store and decide to walk around the front of the store or near the register area,
You see the signage.
the signage tells you that they have the right to ask you to search your bag, to ask you to leave, that pretty much this is their establishment. They have the right to set what goes on in and around their establishment. Has nothing to do with state law, nothing to do with federal law. Now, I'm no Harvard law graduate or expert, but that pretty much tells you, okay, this is your house, don't disrespect you, I'm gonna do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain English. I don't even need to see the rest of this to see how this is gonna go.
Don't
Miss?
touch me.
It gets better.
Relax, relax. You can keep recording all you want, but we're gonna put it in your purse.
Cause see now you're resisting arrest. Now you're actually committing a crime.
Don't touch my phone. I'm relaxed. Come on,
No, you're not relaxed because you're fighting. You're resisting arrest. If you were relaxed, you would go along with it.
Resisting.
you're resisting.
You are resisting. Body cam footage shows all that.
You are trying to get free. That is resisting.
The cops were peacefully talking to you, asking you to leave calmly. Sue on what grounds?
Oh, I can't wait to see your ass.
For what?
I want to provide ID.
Possibly, buddy.
You were asked for your ID.
No.
The cops were very calm and very cordial.
No, because I didn't commit any.
It's not your fault. They can kick you out for any.
Hold on. Do they provide service?
That doesn't matter.
Give me my cell phone.
Miss, stop pulling away from us.
No, give me my cell phone.
Pulling away from us is resisting.
No, give me my cell phone. Give me
Everything's
my
being
cell
recorded.
phone. No.
Everything's being recorded.
Give me my cell phone.
Yes, everything's being
Give
recorded.
me my cell
Please put your
phone.
hands behind your back.
Oh, God. You're a black fun, aren't you,
All right, just put your hands behind your back.
Oh, it was.
She got a purse. Let go of your purse.
Oh, no, where's my cell phone?
We've got it.
It's amazing. It goes to show you what the times are like. All she cares about is her cell phone.
Thank you.
Give me my
Like your cell phone is going to show anything different than what their body cam
my
is
cell
showing.
phone now. Oh, I can't wait to see the fuck out of you
You ain't gonna
guys.
sue anybody.
Oh, absolutely, I know.
You're the one in the wrong.
Where's my cell phone? Cell phone?
You can't have the purse on. She's gonna go in.
Where's my cell
I have your
phone?
cell phone.
I want it now in
You're not getting it.
person. Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. No, you're the one doing that.
Oh! Illegal search!
Not,
Illegal!
How is that an illegal search?
if you kick me, you're gonna go to jail.
Illegal
And you're fighting off an officer by kicking your boot in the back of a car.
search!
You're resisting arrest.
You can't have your purse on. Oh, you're in the back. Yeah, we told you that.
God. Where's my cell phone?
We had
If I
it.
was the cop, I would have just pulled out my utility and I could cut the bag off of
Cell
her.
phone now. I want my cell phone now.
Who put this in your purse?
I want my cell phone now.
She got this thing wrapped around her.
Yeah, just cut it off her,
My
dude.
cell phone
You can say it all your time you want.
I want my cell phone now.
I get to break the purse. I want to break the. I'm gonna handcuff you. You gonna fight with me?
Dude, you are so in trouble.
I'm not. Trust me. Here
You are
goes.
so in trouble.
I'm not. You are.
Oh, no.
Don't fight with us. I'm gonna take your
Oh,
purse.
I wasn't fighting with you at all.
You were resisting the whole time.
Dude, you are so in trouble.
I'm not worried about it.
For what? Calmly doing his job?
Okay.
Now, if more cops were this calm, there'd be a lot more black people alive. Oh, did I say that
There
out
you go.
loud?
Thank you.
What are you taking my cell phone for?
I'm gonna put it in your purse.
All right, then give me my purse.
No, your
You
purse
can't
is
have
something
your
else.
purse. You're under
Put
arrest.
your hands behind your back. Put your hand back.
God.
There you go.
You guys are in so much
See what?
trouble.
Watch it. See, look at. Put yourself in
You're
there.
so in trouble.
No, we're not.
Oh, that's not mine.
Oh, you're right. That was mine.
Oh,
Yours is there. See, I have mine in my pocket
I
too.
want to see it. I want to see it.
Come, that's it.
You go through my cell phone, you're in.
Want me to get them to write a statement?
You know, you heard my commentary while watching the video. I'm sure y'all heard the video, what was going on. We've seen videos like this time and time again of, these supermarket Karens. Oh, it's not a federal law. Listen, federal, state, law is law. But when an establishment has a set of rules at their entrance, whether you see it or not, it's established. The establishment had put their rules out there for everybody to see. it's like you go into somebody else's house. They have a certain way of doing things.
Right.
If you don't do things that way, they have the right to ask you to leave. And that's exactly what happened. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Whether you believe in the science or not,
Right.
they say mask work, mask help. Just wear the mask. Help cut down the spread so that maybe we can get a little closer to what we used to call normal.
Right.
If you can't do that, then don't go out. That's simple. It really is that simple.
Do you even think she really wanted to buy something, or she just wanted to?
No, she
antagonistic?
clearly went into the store looking for trouble.
Now I stumbled upon that video. I believe it happened with January 8th, in Cleveland. Upon arrival, the woman was eventually in a patrol car, and you called her Karen. Guess what her name is?
Karen?
Her real name is Karen. She was arrested for resisting arrest.
And they wonder why they get called Karens.
Failure to disclose personal identification and trespassing. So,
which are laws that she broke.
Right.
So how the police are in trouble, I still don't know.
Have you ever been turned away from a club or something where they said you didn't have proper dress code?
Yeah.
Have you ever been turned away from somewhere because just any reason? Have you ever been turned away from somewhere?
Yeah.
What is the federal law for that?
There is none.
That's a question.
There is none.
The federal law.
There is none. It's the establishment's rules.
Have
you want to come into this club? It's dress shoes and you know, like business casual type attire. You know, nice pants, nice shirt, nice jacket maybe. You know, no Timbs, no hoodies.
Right.
You know, nothing that's gonna make you look like, you know, like the gangbanger homie type.
Right.
You know, because you know you want to put on, you know, it's a party atmosphere. You want everybody to have a good time. So if a club turns you away because you're not meeting their criteria of what they want as, you know, that party environment, they have the right to turn you away. Now, I've never seen a video of somebody getting into a fist fight or having the cops called on them because they was wearing Timbs when they showed up to the club. Even though most people have the mindset, if they're going out to the club, you know what, let me put on some nice shoes because I'm going out for the night.
Right. So, putting on a mask.
Same concept. Hey, you're coming into my spot. I need you to wear a mask. Club asks you to wear dress shoes. You wear dress shoes. No dress shoes, you can't get into the club.
Right.
Store asks you to wear a mask. You don't wear a mask, please leave the store. Can't come into the store.
Right.
Same concept.
Yeah. So she trespassed. She resisted arrest. Now I spoke to one of my cop friends, who I wish I could have on the show, but I can't because, you know, blue lives and things. I asked him a bunch of questions. He broke down some of the ways he would have handled it. What he, not that they did anything wrong, but just how he would have handled it, or how, you know, so on and so forth. We've also seen instances where resistance has gone other ways. And we've also heard the resistance thing be the reason for a lot of deaths with police. So, how do you feel? How do you not that you've been not that you are a cop? Yeah, well, you were in loss prevention in retail. Not the same thing at all.
It's not the same thing at all. Not at all. But similar type of rules do apply.
Right. You know, but how do you? And not to say that you are a cop or anything in the law. How do you feel the cops handled it though, from an outsider perspective? How do you feel?
From an outsider perspective, the cops did what they were supposed to do. They got the call, hey, we have somebody who we've asked to leave the store because they're not adhering to the mask mandate. Not even a mandate, just, you know, the store policy.
Store policy.
So, cop shows up, hey, what's going on? Right away, you can see that the person being accused, who the call was made on, is being aggressive, standing there at the ready with their cell phone as the cop walks in. Right away, trying to act like their own lawyer, like they graduated from Harvard Law. You know, they know everything. What is the federal law? What is this? Not the state, but the federal law that says I can't. Blah blah blah. At this point, federal law, state law has nothing to do with anything. Now, if the state law is to say, hey, you have to wear a mask when going into a public establishment, i.e. a supermarket, a deli, a movie theater, anywhere where there's large groups of people, guess what? State law is law. Federal law covers the country, which is why it's called federal law. State law covers the state, which means no matter where you go in that state, that law has to be enforced. Store has its own policy, like the club example you gave about. You need to wear a mask to come into this establishment. We have the right to deny you entrance or to deny you service because you're not adhering to our policy. So right away she's aggravating the point. The cops are saying, okay, well, we need your ID. Cop came in peacefully, asked what was going on, heard the lady out, asked for her ID. She said no, acted as her own lawyer, asking for federal law, state law, and all this other stuff. And then started resisting arrest. Right. The cops had every right to put her in the back of that squad car and lock her up for whatever period of time she was locked up until her court date and a lawyer and all that other process. So I don't see nothing wrong with that video. Okay. However, people will argue the point, how if that was a black dude, the whole thing about it being a mask wouldn't have been a question. They would have just came in here and said, yeah, come with us. They wouldn't have heard him out. He would have just been drawn out, brought into the police car. It would have been a struggle to get him in the police car, and then whatever would have happened, then they would have blamed it on resisting arrest. When all is said and done, whatever happened with this woman will probably get knocked down to a misdemeanor. She'll probably wind up paying a fine, no jail time, and she can go about her life. Had this been me or you, we would have had a record on our file. A file on our record and this, that, and it would have been a big thing. We would have had to pay all this money in legal fees, get a lawyer, and it would have been bigger than what it had to be. But, these are the times we live in.
Yeah, I, again, agree. This kind of goes back to, like I said, what made me think of it was because something you said about, even the insurrection and stuff, the complaints, what they're complaining about. This lady complained about wearing a mask. Do I like wearing a mask? No,
but I have to.
And again, you can feel however you feel about COVID, because I've had conversations with people that feel, whatever. Nothing changes the fact that it's real.
It's out there.
Whether you feel it's as deadly as or not as deadly as, or because the recovery rate is still less than 1%, or death rate or whatever is less than 1%, or however you feel about it, cool. Numbers, statistics, never fun. Got you. If that's all they're asking, I wear a mask. I put the mask on when I'm around people. I take it off when I'm away from people. You know what I mean? Like, again, I've been doing a lot of Zoom episodes. I was happy to be able to, you've been tested. I've stayed clean. Like, I've stayed with people completely. You know what I'm saying? And I rarely get a chance.
Because we even had that conversation.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, because when I had to really ask you, I'm like, all right, so how does this whole Zoom thing work? And I set up a Zoom account and everything. And then as it was getting closer, I'm like, oh shit, let me, download it to my computer so we can do it on the computer. And you're like, oh, you can do it on the phone, this, that, and the third. Then you hit me up. Now I'm coming through with the camera. I need human interaction.
Yeah, I'm tired of being.
I get that. But like you said, you've been tested X amount of times. I get tested regularly. We both know we're clean.
Yeah.
So we can have this interaction.
Right. And
you don't know what anybody in a grocery store has gone through.
Right.
Have they ever been tested? Have they ever had it and recovered? So instead of taking that chance, wear a mask. Yeah. It's not that hard.
And if you're just going shopping, you're just picking up some stuff real quick. You're not even wearing a mask for that long.
Let's be perfectly honest. How long does it take most of us to do shopping? 45 minutes to an hour?
If that. And it's not. I've seen a YouTube video of a lady.
Some rally attendees say they shouldn't ever wear masks if they have any medical issues or mental health concerns, or if they feel they simply can't breathe.
When George Floyd was saying, I can't breathe, and then he died, and now we're wearing a mask, and we say, I can't breathe, but we're being forced to wear it anyway.
But there's a difference there. You feel you can't breathe because your nose and mouth is being blocked, not because somebody's knee is on your fucking neck.
Aha. She actually said that though. She really felt that she could relate to George Floyd because he said he couldn't breathe. So she said, "Yeah, I can't breathe." And yeah. And not to be racist, but it's something about what we complain about and what they complain about that shows a difference. You know what I mean?
Oh, big time.
You know, like you said, January 6th, people were complaining about an election, which, and like you said also, you didn't celebrate and cheer like some people did for when Biden won. Because at the end of the day, what do we get out of it?
It's another day with a new guy in charge.
You know what I mean? So there's nothing to jump up and cheer about, and to me, there's nothing to destroy property about. There's nothing to break the building about.
Because at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to cause Trump to be put back in office as president.
Right.
It's not going to change the fact that day one, like he said he was going to, was going to sign executive orders reversing all the executive orders he put in place.
Right. Yeah.
Now, has Biden, since being elected and started signing those executive orders, has he, done a magnificent job? Is this country that much greater since we've had Trump? Not at all. Did he, especially this whole pipeline thing. Are gas prices going up? Yeah, I noticed the gas prices are going up. But that also stems to renewable energies. Gas prices and oil prices are going to go up because they're not going to be drilling as much and looking for oil as much because they're trying to pull away from fossil fuels. And that's not just in this country. That's a worldwide thing. And that's what the Paris Accords were all about. Less dependence on fossil fuels.
Right.
Moving towards renewable energy.
Yep.
Which is why GM has said that by 2035 they want to stop using gas and diesel powered vehicles.
Right. How do you feel about that? You have a Challenger?
I have a Challenger. I have a Jeep with a Hemi in it. I've grown up around cars my whole life. I'm a gearhead.
Right.
Worked on diesel trucks. I work on trains now.
Do you feel the electric vehicles can have the power and the fun?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. As my nickname before is using, well, not even the Mopar Man, going back to the Train Man.
Oh, Train Man, yeah.
That whole Train Man comes from because of the fact that of where I work. I work with trains. Trains, New York City subway cars specifically.
Yeah.
Which all run on 600 volts plus DC.
Right, little science for y'all ain't even know.
So, each train, I was thinking about this the other day, puts out about roughly 6,000 horsepower.
Okay.
Of a full 10-car train. So, and even if you bring it down much lower than that, there are videos out there that you could YouTube where you could see a Tesla versus a Hellcat, and the Tesla is blowing the wheels off the Hellcat.
Yeah, I ain't like that.
These electric motors can do things and build up torque that gas-powered motors can't.
Shout out to the Porsche Taycan, I think it's called Taycan.
Yeah,
that Porsche look like it's alright. I kind of like that.
The thing with
Porsche, holla at me.
Listen, if you holler at him, I'm not partial to not taking a sponsorship either.
Right.
Even if it's a free, one lap around the track.
Right.
Porsche, a ride in a Porsche is a ride in a Porsche.
Absolutely.
But anyway, electric vehicles have come a long way.
Yeah.
Teslas now can go up to about 300-400 miles on one charge. Now they also have technology which our subway cars have, something called regenerative braking, which means now every time you take a break, it's actually sending unused power back to the batteries.
Right.
So if you're using it for merely local travel, say you charge it on Monday, you may not have to charge again until Saturday. Because if you're just doing local travel, local travel is a lot of stop and go.
Right.
So you're not using as much power as you would if you were going on a constant 300-mile trip.
Right.
On a highway. So battery technology has gotten better. Safety standards have gotten a lot better in them. So it's obviously the way to go.
Right.
Same thing with solar and wind. You look at a state like Iowa that is not largely, but at least maybe 15 to 20, maybe 25% dependent on wind technology.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of houses that are out there that are dependent on solar energy.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people that are switching to solar energy,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big money save. It may cost you, say it costs you $15,000 to put solar panels on your house.
Yeah.
Okay, but over time, you're going to gain all that back anyway, because now, once your batteries are fully charged,
Mm-hmm.
the power you're getting off the pole
Mm-hmm.
is now going to go back to Con Ed. So now,
Right.
at some point, Con Ed may wind up paying you.
Yeah.
Because now you're kicking energy back to them.
Yeah.
So your energy bill may be like, say, $40 a month,
Mm-hmm.
but you're getting a $100 check
Mm-hmm.
from Con Ed because you're sending power back to them.
Right. Right.
So it's a give and take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to I want to prayers for Texas.
Prayers to Texas.
Texas
Definitely.
has been a couple of days. I mean, by the time this airs, if they're still without power, it'll be about a week without power.
Yeah.
During one of their coldest winters that they've seen in a while, they've actually gotten snow down there.
Galveston Beach, the home of Juneteenth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is covered in snow right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. So, and I know a couple people in Texas, that have, basically said they had to, spend majority of the day in their car, just to use the car heat, charge the battery of their devices.
Yeah.
Just to be aware of what's going on in the world. And there's actually a family. I don't think they released the names yet, but there's a family that passed away. Whoa. Because they were using the car heat in their garage and died of the inhaling the carbon dioxide, and prayers to them and their family. But it's sacrifices that people that not, again, survival. Sometimes you don't think of all the aspects of maybe we should just drive outside. You don't think about being in the garage. But you're thinking, turn the car on, get some heat, you know what I'm saying?
Back out into the driveway.
Yeah.
Crack the door in the garage, maybe.
Right. They didn't think about all of it. They were just thinking it's cold. It was a child as well. A couple people have passed away. There's been some losses in Texas. People are just trying to survive right now. Like I said, it's cold. It's a cold that we might be used to as New Yorkers.
Right.
But to Texas, it's
right. Like you just said, as New Yorkers, as people here who are in the Northeast,
Yeah.
this is another,
winter.
It's a regular day.
Yeah.
It's February.
Right.
It's another Wednesday in February for us. Or is today Thursday? Thursday in February.
Yeah.
So,
but
and a lot of people want to say that, they're just trying to push, green energy on us, Green New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people don't seem to realize, though, is Texas is probably the only state that has its own power grid.
Yes, it's the only state. There's a there's an east grid, there's a west grid, and there's a Texas grid. They're the only state that had that. Because a lot of people, history lesson real quick, Texas was looking to secede from the nation. So when the whole power grid thing went down, they kept their own, and they were trying to be their own, and they still remained a state, but they kept the power grid as is.
Well, maybe now this will open their eyes to the importance of being on a shared grid, to where something like this happens, they'll have the support where they can be backfed energy to supply their people, at least a minimum supply. Maybe not heat a whole house, maybe a room or two.
Right.
Keep, the fridge on, so, and the kitchen going so that you can have a hot meal or whatever.
Right.
But
does this go on to Biden's checklist? Does this go into something that he need that will be his legacy as president?
As a failing or as a positive?
Well, as of now, does it? Because we don't. I mean, like I said, by the time we this episode airs, it'll be about a week later. But even still, does this go to him, or is it more to the electric company, or does it
I would say as of right now, it falls squarely on the fact that Texas is their own electric provider. But it's definitely an argument that the Biden administration has for why they need to join a national grid.
Okay.
Not to be confused with National Grid, the gas company.
Right.
But a national power grid. And why they should be prepared for weather such as this.
Okay.
As much as the previous administration wanted to deny the fact that climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it, is real, this proves it's real. Some people may want to say, well, maybe it's not climate change. Maybe it's just a planetary change that, every, 5, 10,000 years, the planet just, the way it orbits, this, that, and the third, it's going to happen. Either way, it's a change we got to deal with. This is something that's out of our hands. Now, if using less fossil fuels slows it down, and it means that, hey, I can't drive my, nice supercharged, Dodge Challenger around, or my Hemi-powered Jeep through the snow, so be it. If it means that the planet is going to be here for future generations, then it was worth it. I'm not going to be here, in 1,000 years, 100 years. I might not be here tomorrow, but there are people that will be. It's not right for me to feel a certain way that I gotta hold on to what I have, that my life or what makes me comfortable is more important than having for the next generation. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So that's just my scope of things.
Got you. And I would love to see your scope of things. How do you guys feel about it? Feel free to comment on that as well. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I got for now. Anything else on your mind, sir?
Nah, man, I think we pretty much covered everything that, catch up from, way back in episode 6 of the current events.
Yes. We need to do this more often. I don't want to see you another 100 episodes. We need
another 100 episodes. That's what, another 2 years?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus.
So we got to do it more frequently. Even if it is Zoom or whatever. I'll get you on some of the Zoom calls or have some other guys. Scheduling is just the thing. I mean, I know you work some hours that always don't, allow you to get it.
I don't always work the best hours.
Yeah. But we'll figure something out. But like I said, everybody else, comment, like, share, subscribe, give us your point of view. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you as always. You know what it is. To my core audience, saying you always been here. And Danny's one of them. Everybody else, you know who you are. I don't need to say no names. New followers, new subscribers that I got, welcome. I promise, there are happier episodes, more fun episodes, but it's just, right now, like I said, we're still in a pandemic. We can only talk about what's going on. There's a dog barks in the background.
He's actually been barking the entire interview.
Yeah.
This is probably just the loudest he's been.
Yeah, but
he's like this big, but thinks he's this big.
Yeah, it'd be the little dogs.
That Yosemite Sam syndrome. That's exactly what it is.
Chihuahuas and stuff are always the loudest dogs. But yeah, shout like I said, shout out to everybody watching, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Till we meet again. You know what I'm saying? The conversation continues. Later.